Well, we're very excited to welcome to this part of the broadcast special guest, Jillian Price, who's Chief Audiologist for Hearing Life Canada. And Hearing Life is an Advantage partner for our members and helps them with hearing needs. And to interview Jillian, we've asked Lori Dennell, chair of our Wellbeing Committee, to have a discussion with her about technology and the health benefits of taking care of your hearing. So I'll turn it over to you, Lori.
Thanks, Tim. We're pleased to welcome you, Jillian. You're the Chief Audiologist of Hearing Life Canada, and we live in a vision-centered culture. Do we underestimate how important hearing is?
Hi, Lori. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Hearing is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm very passionate about the issue. So when I do get a chance to talk to people about it, I'm very grateful for that. So thanks for having me. You know, we do live in a world where our vision puts our world in front of us, but hearing actually immerses you right into your world. So it allows you to be sort of part of the action. It brings life, color to your world. Without it, it can be quite isolating. So the answer to your question is yes. I do believe we underestimate how important hearing is because it's just really not something we think about. We hear automatically all day. We don't have an on-off button for our ears. They are essentially on all the time, even when we're sleeping. So for a lot of people, it's not until something goes wrong or we start to notice a change in our hearing that we really think about how it affects our life. And this could be in many different areas, because when we use our hearing, think about when you use your hearing all day long. So for safety, for our social activities, for our connecting with other people, enjoyment, entertainment, information. So even listening to this information right now, you need your ears to do that. So how important is that sense? One of our five senses, I may say the most important sense that we have. So yeah, it's time to think about our ears, love our ears, and give them the attention and love that they deserve.
All right. So what are the consequences of not loving our ears if we don't care for our hearing?
So if we're not stimulating the auditory cortex, the saying, use it or lose it, well, that does happen because you're depriving your ear of sounds and your auditory cortex of those sounds if you don't seek treatment or seek help. So we want to take care of our ears by really just making sure that everything's okay. So get your hearing checked. But then there's other factors, really actually quite significant health factors, like higher rates of depression, higher rates of anxiety, social isolation, and even a higher risk of cognitive decline when we are not treating an identified hearing loss. So if there is something going on and we are seeing changes in our hearing, the consequence of not caring for them is pretty significant.
I understand that there's been significant advancements in hearing technology. What are some of the most important advancements?
Yeah, and without getting too technical, because listeners may not want the tech version of this answer, but I have two really important updates that have happened in the last, say, 5 years or so that are game changers for users of hearing aids. One is rechargeable. So rechargeability is a huge one. If you are a hearing aid wearer, you would have known for many years that hearing aids required batteries that had to be changed very, very often. And they're very tiny. And that was a bit of an issue and, just an inconvenience altogether. So having hearing aids that are rechargeable, and when we think about all of our devices that we use, so many of them get plugged in at the end of the night. This is just another piece of electronics, because hearing aids is an electronic device that you're just going to plug in at the end of the night, and you're going to recharge it while you sleep, and then you're going to get full use of it all day. That is very convenient for hearing aid users. The other thing is Bluetooth. And what I mean by that is, again, we have a lot of devices now that you can hook up one device to another or stream audio, watching television, talking on the phone, using your cell phone to watch videos or even have conversations, using your computer to do that. So anywhere where you can plug in, say, earphones or headphones, now you can usually link it up with your hearing aids. That is very, very beneficial for a hearing aid user that does not have to remove their hearing aids in order to hear, right? So the hearing aids act as a earphone now, a wireless earphone or a headphone. That is huge for people who are trying to navigate this tech savvy world, and try to use all the great items that are out there. Like, cell phones are wonderful, but if you can't hear on a cell phone when you're trying to have a conversation, it's not wonderful for you. Now you can. So Bluetooth is a huge advancement and a game changer, I would say, for hearing aid users.
So is there solid research about the experiences of people using the latest technology?
Yeah, there's been lots of research to indicate, treating your hearing loss is beneficial for those who have a change in hearing, and in many ways. And so the research reveals that hearing aid wearers are just overall happier compared to those that don't treat their hearing loss. They're 3 times more likely to be happier. They report better relationships, because when we think about this, communication is key. So they have improvements in their relationships because they are able to communicate better with loved ones. So that's also huge. Better conversations, about a 40% improvement in conversations. Just think about those issues, right? Trying to have a conversation when you're struggling versus being able to hear naturally or easily. And they just feel more connected to their families. Because hearing is not really about hearing the sounds or not hearing the sounds. It's about connecting. And that is how we connect. We're social beings. And we use our ears, we use conversation a lot to do that. So it's about feeling connected to the people around you. And that's what this technology does. It's not perfect technology. I'll be the first to tell you the hearing aids are not perfect. But they do an amazing job at allowing individuals to reconnect in a world that's been quieted, that has been silenced or muffled because of the change in their hearing. So that reconnection is really important.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about hearing prevention. There's so many times when we encounter harmful noises in our everyday life. How can we protect ourselves?
That's a great question. Because I get asked a lot, well, what do I do? How do I protect myself so that I don't end up in this situation? And I'm really honest about it. It's not a matter of if, it's actually a matter of when. So we are all going to have changes in our hearing. This is inevitable. We live in a noisy world, and it is impossible to not bombard your ears at some point in your life. It's just, it's the wear and tear over time, much like how our eyes change, right? Our vision changes over time. But what we can do is protect our ears so that we can at least lower the chances of that happening earlier and maybe slow things down, and so that it's not as profound, right? So we do have control over how much exposure we have to loud noises. And loud noises or noise-induced hearing loss is pretty much the most common reason why we have damage to our ears and why we see changes in our hearing. So as you age, it's the cumulative effects over years and years of being exposed to loud noise. If we can help mitigate that, we can really make a change. So how do you do that? The easiest way to do that is just hearing protection, right? Just wear hearing protection when you're in loud and noisy environments. How do you know if it's too loud? If you can't have a regular conversation with someone who's fairly close to you, it's too loud. So anytime you're at a concert or live event with music, all those instances, it's too loud. Occupation, if you're, we have some rules in place now. So Hopefully people are not being exposed through their job to excessive noise. But even your hobbies, if you have a hobby that is noisy, you need to protect your ears, and just simply wearing hearing protection is the easiest way to do that. So that would be my number one way to help prevent hearing loss from happening earlier than it needs to.
And that would be earplugs or headphones?
Yeah. Yes. So there's lots of different options. I really like the silicone ones that just go in. They're disposable. They're silicone. I really like those. There's also custom, which is great. So if someone that like you're a musician, or you like to attend live events, or you have a hobby or passion, woodworking, you like to ride a motorcycle, something that you do on the regular, I would invest in custom hearing protection that is molded to the shape of your ear. Headphones also work well. There are lots of options available. And, if you're not sure of what's best for you, you can always come visit us at Hearing Life, and we can help you figure out what is the best type for you.
So I hear people talking about tinnitus. Is it common?
It is actually. It's about 50%, 15% of the population that does report that they have tinnitus. You can say it either way. And what is that for people who don't know? It's like a ringing, buzzing. It can be many sounds, but it's often described as sort of a ringing, buzzing, humming that is heard in the ears, but is actually not coming from the ears. It's not an external sound. No one else can hear it but you. So it's kind of coming from your head. And we really, to this date, don't truly know the reason why this happens, the single cause. There are lots of hypotheses, but what we do know is it's very tied to hearing loss. So most individuals who have hearing loss also experience tinnitus. So we do know that it is related and tied to or associated with noise-induced hearing loss. So noise exposure. Yeah.
So if someone is thinking, I should check this out, what's the process for to assess our hearing and look at aids?
Okay. So if you are unsure if, number one, you may have hearing loss, or you're not hearing as well as you should, or if you're experiencing tinnitus, the very first step is to come and get your hearing checked. It's easy. It takes about an hour. It's free at Hearing Life, so it's not even going to cost you anything. You don't need a referral, so there's no doctor referral needed. And that is the first step to find out what's going on. And it's such an easy step to do in terms of, it's painless and it's about an hour of your time. But it really gives you an idea of, okay, where am I at? And is there anything I need to do about this now? If you're wondering when is a great time to do this, we always recommend that everyone by age 60 should have a hearing test. So if you are 60 and older and you have not had one, now is the time.
All right. So the BCRTA has named Hearing Life an Advantage Partner. So what benefits do our BCRTA members and their families receive from this partnership with Hearing Life?
Yes. So they do receive double the air miles of non-members. So if you like air miles, that's a really great benefit to have. I love air miles. I like to travel. And so and there's also lots of great things that you can get on air miles other than traveling. You also receive an additional discount of an extra 10% off the final pricing. So you're going to receive, an extra discount that nobody else receives. So that's a perk of being a member and of this affiliation with Hearing Life. So we definitely want you to come and use that. And you're going to get the 360 care after service that covers you for 3 years. So that means everything is included for 3 years. So it's really hassle-free, worry-free. We're going to take care of you and all your needs, all your hearing healthcare needs for the first 3 years of the purchase. So some really nice perks there. There are some additional perks, I believe, that come with the Club Pass, and there is a website that can give you the information for that. I'm sure you'll probably share that at some point with your members.
Well, I think we're going to show some contact information right now for people who are interested for themselves or a loved one. And thank you much for joining us today, Jillian. We really appreciate it.
Again, thanks for having me. It was great.
Good to see you. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.